Welcome everybody to a meeting of the Old Colony Metropolitan Planning Organization. I'm David Moeller, representing Secretary Jamie Tesler here. Charlie, you want to call the roll and then I'll read the announcements.
Yes, Brockton, Plymouth, West Bridgewater, Meredith Anderson,
Here.
Whitman, Brockton Area Transit, Michael Lambert.
Here.
MassDOT, David Moeller.
Here.
MassDOT, Barbara LaChance.
Morning here.
Morning. Old Colony Planning Council, Mary Waldron.
Here.
We have a quorum present.
Thanks, Charlie. Do we have an accessibility statement you'd like me to read or? There we go. This meeting is accessible to people with disabilities. Microphones or telephones will be used by all speakers. If you would like these accommodations, please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833, extension 202. Thank you. The Notice of Non-Discrimination Rights and Protections to Beneficiaries with regard to the Federal Title VI Non-Discrimination Protections and the State Non-Discrimination Protections is included on this meeting's agenda and is available on the Old Colony Planning Council website at www.ocpcrpa.org. Please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833, extension 202 for more information. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I noticed Lee Hartman from Plymouth joined the meeting as a signatory, as did Pam Hasner from MassDOT District 5.
Thank you, Charlie.
Good morning.
Good morning. Are there any public comments at this time? If so, please raise your hand and we will call on you. Seeing none, if you want to comment during the meeting, please raise your hand and we will call on you then. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of August 17th, 2021. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes, and please state your name for the record?
Mary Anderson, so moved.
Is there a second?
Michael Lambert, second.
Thank you. Charlie, please call the roll. Oh, wait, any comments, changes, questions, or suggestions? Hearing none. Charlie, please call the roll.
Yes, City of Brockton, Brady Winston has joined the meeting.
Oh, good.
Perhaps we could recap for Brady. We're in the middle of a roll call vote for the acceptance of the August 17th, 2021 Old Colony MPO meeting minutes. So roll call.
Okay, thanks. So sorry to be a little tardy.
No worries.
So City of Brockton,
I guess that would be me, present.
accept. Town of Plymouth, Lee Hartman.
Accept.
West Bridgewater, Meredith Anderson.
Yes, accept.
Brockton Area Transit, Michael Lambert.
Yes.
MassDOT, David Moeller.
Yes.
MassDOT, Pamela Hasner.
Yes.
Old Colony Planning Council, Mary Waldron.
Accept.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Charlie. Next item on the agenda is an update from the Brockton Area Transit Authority. Michael, is this you?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have good news today on this beautiful October day. First of all, and most importantly, our workforce is healthy and on the job. So that is good news. And we are somewhere around 85-86% fully vaccinated, which is also great news. We in September surpassed 60% of our pre-COVID ridership levels for the first time since the outbreak. And that caps off a steady increase starting in July, which gives us some optimism that, assuming current conditions hold, we'll continue to see year over year progression toward somewhere around 80 or 85%. Then we expect that last 15% to be a more difficult challenge to recoup, as there have been obviously long-term changes to commuting habits. And then finally, the legislature voted 2 weeks ago to override a gubernatorial veto that provided $3.5 million to regional transit statewide. Two items of note. One is we just wrapped up an interesting little project with OCPC, looking at available space on service area roads for a potential bus lane. For the most part, due to Brockton's sort of dense urban nature and tight street network, there's not a huge availability for bus lanes, but one area that we are going to pursue is looking at the route in its entirety from Brockton to Ashmont, which runs through Randolph and Milton, and then Dorchester, and does have some potential partnership that we could undertake with those towns and with the T to try and see if we can get some bus lanes along the route. And then finally, later in this agenda, you'll be hearing from Kelly Forrester from BAT on our asset management targets, which we set annually based on federal rules, and I appreciate this body's support for those adopting those targets when the time comes.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions for Mike from the members? Seeing none. I believe the next report is from District 5. Pam, is this you?
Sorry,
morning,
I was
everybody.
on.
It's Barbara.
Barbara will be presenting. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Pam. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to go through our regional projects and a couple of construction updates for you guys. Federal fiscal year, let's see, 22. Pembroke, 36 from 27 to Route 14. We are actually awaiting a revised PS&E on this project prior to advertising. And let's see, 23 projects. We have Stoughton, Central Street, Canton Street, and Tosca Drive. It's at 100%. We are awaiting a PS&E submission that is scheduled for this week. Stoughton corridor improvements on Route 138 is currently at 25%. There has been a common resolution meeting for that, and I believe next steps for this are the utility meeting. Actually, yes, that's scheduled actually for the 28th of October, and then the design public hearing will follow. Fiscal year 24, we have Center Street at Plymouth Street in Brockton, and that is pre-25 right now. And we are awaiting a 25% submission, which is scheduled for November of this year. 25, we have Brockton, Lyman Street, Grove Street, Summer Street, and replacement of the Grove Street Bridge. We have that, a bridge type study came in August, and that is currently under review by the district. Easton corridor improvements on 138 from at Washington Street and Elm Street. It's currently at 75%, 25%. And I believe next steps for this is also utility meeting and the design public hearing. Fiscal year 26, we have Hanson corridor improvements on 14 from the Pembroke Town Line to Indian Head Street. And that is currently at 25%. And next steps for that, also a utility site walk and the design public hearing. Abington intersection improvements at Hancock and Chestnut is currently at 25%. We do need to have a common resolution meeting for that and a utility site walk prior to the design public hearing. Duxbury is signal installation, Route 3 at northbound and southbound ramps at Route 3A. Is currently less than 25% complete. I'm waiting for the design to start on that project. And that's it for the project updates. But the construction, we have the Plymouth Oberry Street is basically done. The contract is just finishing up a few punch list items that they have to do to finish up that job. East End Depot Street, the contractor is currently working on granite curb installation and raising the castings to grade. East Bridgewater Route 18, the contractor is working on the sidewalks and the driveways in that project. And that's my update.
Thank you very much. Any questions
Thank
for the
you.
district? Seeing none.
Thank
Next
you.
item on the agenda would be tip amendments, but we don't have any, although I am pleased to announce that the tip was approved by Federal Highway on Friday of last week. So we do have a fully active tip. Federal Highway and Federal Transit signed off on it. Next item is a presentation and possible vote, I believe, on performance-based planning and Brockton Area Transit Asset Management Plan. Mike, you want to tee it up?
Yep, just as I mentioned, this is in response to a federal requirement designed to ensure state of good repair for transit authorities across the nation. And I'll turn it over to Kelly for introduction of the targets.
Whenever you're ready, Kelly.
Thank you. I'm ready. Like Michael said, so every year, this is a federal rule starting in 2016. I think it went into effect. So every year I get to visit you nice folks and present our transit asset management performance measures. So this is a rule that went into place to sort of track and ensure state of good repair for our fleets and our facilities. So we break our fleet out into rolling stock, which is that first category. That's our revenue vehicles. So the buses you see on the road and our vans. Equipment, which is our non-revenue vehicles, so our maintenance vehicles, and then all of our facilities. You will see the column all the way to the right is the percentage of our fleet and facilities that were in a state of good repair. I'm sorry, that exceeded either their age range or state of good repair for facilities as of June 30th, 2021. And then the yellow highlights are our proposed targets for this year. So you'll see some slight changes. So in buses, we're going to go from 2% to 8%. We are expecting new buses in this year, but with everything else, we are just sort of covering our bases for timing to make sure that they are in and on the road by June 30th. So we shouldn't see too much of an actual difference, but in case there's a little delay in the pipeline or getting them there, we have moved that target to 8%. Our cutaway buses are our smaller vehicles that are used by Bridgewater State. Those are staying the same. That's just 25% because there's only 4 of those vehicles, and one is still working very well. It's just beyond its useful life of 10 years. And then vans, we have a great ongoing van replacement program, and we are expecting to see some new vans this year, and we should be just below 13% of beyond 8 years for any of our vans on the road. For our equipment, it's very similar. So we are seeing a new service vehicle this year that will replace an aging vehicle. All of our service vehicles are kept very well, low mileage, but they do last a little longer than the FTA's expected useful life of 8 years. So we do have a few trucks and cars that are a little beyond that, but they're still working well. And then facilities are the only ones that are not just on an age based, it's really on a state of good repair and how those look. And we are expecting all 3 of our facilities to remain in state of good repair by the end of this year. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions? Do we need a motion and a second to approve this, or are we
Yes.
releasing this? What do we do, Charlie? Is this approval?
Yes, please.
Okay, can I get a motion and a second to approve the TAMP targets for BAT as presented today? Please state your name for the record.
Mary Waldron, Old Colony Planning Council.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Lee Hartman.
Motion having been made and seconded. Charlie, please call the roll.
Yes, City of Brockton, Brady Winston.
Yes.
Town of Plymouth, Lee Hartman.
Yes.
West Bridgewater, Meredith Anderson.
Yes.
Brockton Area Transit, Michael Lambert.
Yes.
MassDOT, David Moeller.
Yes.
MassDOT District Highway Division, Pam Hasner.
Yes.
Old Colony Planning Council, Mary Waldron.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. Very clear presentation. What's next? Road
This would be-
safety audits. Is this you, Charlie?
This will be Bill McNulty.
When you're ready, Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just an update on to recap the FFY 2021 program and looking ahead at 2022. So 2021 was a very successful year for this for the first year of this program. We did a total of 15 road safety audits throughout the region. There was a good geographic equity of that program, reaching all parts of our region. So we're really pleased with that. The reports from most of those audits have gone out. A few of them are still have the final touches going on them, and they'll be going out shortly, within a week. So we're really happy with that, and it was so successful and so popular that we decided to roll it into this program year, just bringing it back. So Looking ahead, we'll be doing this again. I'm currently in the process of reaching out to the communities of our region. I've contacted, so about half of you in the region have heard from me so far, where I've just as a conversation starter, sent each community a spreadsheet that I maintain, ranking the intersections within their communities based on the EPDO index, which is equivalent to property damage only. So that gives us a good start on evaluating hazardous locations. But we also look beyond that. We look for community input. So I'm soliciting input from the communities right now where the priorities in their towns are for road safety audits. And I've gotten some good input so far, and then we'll have evaluation criteria for actual site selection. So various criteria that'll be looked at when we're selecting sites. Is it near a transit facility? Is it near a school? Is it in a central business district or a transit-oriented development? Is it an environmental justice area? So those are positives that would weigh in favor of selecting a site for road safety audit. And then other criteria such as, has it been improved within the last 10 years, or has there already been a road safety audit within the last 5 years? Those criteria will weigh against a site a little bit. So we're going through that process now. We expect to have a list of candidate locations probably by mid-November, and just going from there. So if anyone has any questions on this program, happy to entertain them now, or you can always contact me.
Thanks, Bill. Questions? So Bill, I just have one.
Sure.
Are you doing something to also track implementation of recommendations after the fact? Like, it seems like a really great job. You did 15, great geographic dispersion. Are you then going to go back and track whether cities and towns or MassDOT implemented the recommendations?
Yeah, so we're in the process of that as well. So for this prior year, it's still a little early.
Yeah.
But then so we will be evaluating that. Just in road safety audits we've done in the past, we're looking at that as well. So like for example, we had one we did in conjunction with MassDOT and their consultant in Duxbury a few years ago. So we're looking at that right now to see what, if any, improvements were implemented from that. So we do look at that.
Excellent, because I would think that in the future, again, once you had more time for people to implement, that could also be a screen of, you don't want to keep studying places and communities where nothing is getting done except to study.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
excellent work. Excellent work.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for the staff? Seeing none, Charlie, what's up next? Oh, right, administrative items. Does anyone have anything to come before the MPO at this time? So Charlie, we have a time for a scheduled meeting, but we may or may not meet next month. Is that correct?
Right. If I may, before we get to the schedule, I actually do have 2 updates for the MPO. 2 announcements. One is on your screen. It's a Resilient Transportation and Climate Adaptation Summit, which is actually being held tomorrow at 1 p.m. But we can register on the Old Colony Planning Council website. There's a panel discussion with OCPC, Metropolitan Area Planning Council, Cape Cod Commission, SERPID, and the Mass Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. So if you're free at 1 p.m. and want to learn more about this topic, we encourage you to register and attend. Item number 2, ever popular, is please save the date for the 2021 Moving Together Conference scheduled for a virtual workshop this year. There's a website here. You can register now. It's December 7th through the 9th. And to the chair's earlier comment about the upcoming meeting schedule, here's a list of remaining dates that are tentative for 2021. If there are no specific action items before the MPO, such as a tip adjustment or tip amendment, staff is recommended that please hold these dates as tentative, but please be advised that unless any action items come up, in all likelihood that it will be canceled for November and December. That being said, I would respectfully ask the MPO for 2022 dates here. Please schedule these as hard dates, and the MPO will be meeting monthly during this multi-month cycle, as it's major charge for the MPO to engage on development of its 3C planning documents, such as the Transportation Improvement Program and the Unified Planning Work Program. So early in January, we will be working with the MPO to starting to review projects for the Transportation Improvement Program, in particular the upcoming TIP, which will be 2023 through 2027. In February, MassDOT and the MPOs will meet collectively to review project readiness in TIP readiness days. In March, the MPO will review and consider and potentially determine a preferred set of projects for the TIP. And beyond that, staff will work on drafting the draft TIP for the MPO's consideration at their April meeting. In April, and according to the schedule, the MPO will review and release the draft TIP to a public review and comment period, and then reconvene in May to hear public comments and consider draft endorsement of the draft TIP. Along parallel development of the TIP, we'll have the development of the Unified Planning Work Program, which is the scope of work and budget for the transportation staff. And in all likelihood, a review and release will occur in either April or May for the MPO, but we respectfully ask that the MPO save these dates for development of these 3C documents.
Thank you, Charlie. Any other comments or concerns or issues to come before the MPO at this time?
No, I just want to make note, there were 3 attendees, just to recognize that they are part of the meeting. We can just take a look. Oh, I think they're moving in as either they're logging off or that they're moving in as a panelist. So just wanted to recognize that.
Yeah, so those 3 folks are Val Massard, who's the planning director in the town of Kingston, and also the OCPC delegate from Kingston. Person number 2 is Michelle Ho from the MassDOT Office of Transportation Planning. And third is the Wesley Linkus, is a fellow with Mass DOT at the moment.
Excellent. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Mary. No other business coming for the MPO at this time. Can I get a motion and a second to adjourn? And please state your name for the record.
Motion to adjourn, Lee Hartman.
Is there a second?
Seconded, Mary Anderson.
Motion having been made and seconded, we are adjourned. Thank you all very much. Great job as always, guys.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Have
you.
a great day.
You too.